So this is one of the most important encounters in Travels with Charlie. It's October 12th, 1960. Steinbeck began the day at Frazee and Detroit Lakes. He crossed through Fargo to the Maple River right here, and he did a little laundry. The way he did laundry was to put water and clothes in a plastic bin, and detergent. He'd let them slosh around all day. He used a bungee cord to make sure that it didn't spill. And then when he would get to the next day, he would rinse out the clothes and put them out on bushes or whatever to dry. So he's probably a little tired. And then he sees in this little roadside stop that existed then, not now, he sees another caravan come up with a station wagon and a small kind of rickety trailer of some sort. That man is sort of eyeing him, and he's about 50 yards away, and Steinbeck is eyeing him. And eventually Steinbeck turns the dog loose, Charlie, his ambassador. Pretty soon, the other man comes walking over. Steinbeck, as he is wont to do, invites him into his camper van, Rocinante, and offers him coffee. And they talk for a while, and then Steinbeck says, would you mind if I sweetened that a little? And he pours a little whiskey into that man's coffee and pours himself a little whiskey. And they keep talking, and it turns out that the man he meets is an itinerant elocutionist. He's a Shakespearean actor, sort of fallen on hard times. And Steinbeck is traveling incognito, so he doesn't say that he's, of course, the famous John Steinbeck. But the other man sort of picks up that there's a sort of a theatrical quality to Steinbeck, and he says, I can tell that you're in the theater and that you're in the business. Steinbeck says, no, I've written a couple. And the man says, how'd it go? And Steinbeck says, flops. So Steinbeck says to him, well, tell me about your act. And he says, well, I do the 7 Ages of Man. I do To Be or Not to Be. He said, really, I heard this album, this LP, with the famous British actor John Gielgud, and I really do it in the manner of Gielgud. He said, but I'm not stealing. I sent a letter to Gielgud in England, and he replied. And then this elderly man pulls a wallet out of his pocket. He opens it up and he pulls a piece of sort of mottled tinfoil out and unfolds it really carefully. And in it is a letter of reply from John Gielgud, one of the great British actors of the 20th century. The actor gets up to go, and Steinbeck says, why so soon? And he says, well, I learned this in the theater. Always leave them wanting more. Always know when to make your exit. And so he goes back to his rig, and Steinbeck then, it's well after noon now, he's had a couple of drinks, and so he says he decided to spend the night right here, and this little turnoff on the Maple River in eastern North Dakota. This is one of the most charming scenes in all of Travels with Charlie. There are probably a dozen major encounters in Travels with Charlie, and this is certainly one of them. It's in some regards the most famous, but some people doubt it. So here's an e-copy of Bill Steigerwald's book, Dogging Steinbeck. Steigerwald is essentially saying this couldn't have happened because it occurred in North Dakota. But I can tell you that when I was in K through 12, on at least 3 occasions that I can recall, itinerant elocutionists came for all school assemblies in precisely this way. So it did happen, and it does happen, and Steigerwald's belief that it could not have happened because it was North Dakota is really a mean-spirited and condescending dismissal of the Northern Great Plains, and I am 100% outraged by that. Why would he make it up? What does he gain by placing this incident on the Maple River in eastern North Dakota? But this book is more true than its skeptics can possibly believe. For Listening to America, I'm Clay Jenkinson. We'll see you down the road.